Okay, hello, good evening. Welcome to H3, the show about health, hope, and happiness. I have with me the lovely, the talented, the amazing Tiffany Kelly. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining on H3 and sharing about your life. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, right off the get go, that TiffanyInspiresQR.com is where you can go. If Tiffany's telling you something, you say, I got to check this out. Just like click that link. She is a multi-book author. How many books? You got one more coming out, and you've authored how
It'll be
many?
number 8.
Number 8. You've already published 7. Whew,
Yes.
you are a big deal. Wow. And I know some of them are about cooking, right?
Yeah, I have one cookbook, and it's actually number 9 is coming later this year. My goal is to drop number 9 in probably around September, which will be cookbook number 2. But I have one cookbook. I have several journals. I have one book that I actually was like a co-author. It's about me and about I forgot how many women was in that book, but that book actually became an Amazon bestseller. And then my original book, Lady of Power, which came out 9 years ago, and this next month, March, I'll be launching the second edition to that book, Lady of Power, part 2. And so, but a lot of the other ones were mainly like journals, planners for educators, a yearly planner for educators, and also a guided journal for educators called the Fit Pause Journal, which is around helping educators pause for a moment each day for self-care and being able to do some guided journaling and some activities that help them to, take better care of themselves on a daily basis. So, yeah.
Right. Awesome. And the first book, Lady of Power, is what it was called, right? And you said
Yes.
nine, yeah. So what prompted you to write that book? What was burning within Tiffany that she had to get it out?
That the first book, I was inspired by someone who heard about had a weight loss journey. Excuse me. And he was like, "Oh, did you write a book? You should write to inspire the women." So the book was supposed to originally be a book that tells my story, but it ended up being a book of inspiration for women. Excuse me one second.
You bet.
My water in here is like ice and cold. Um, but the first book was to basically inspire women who are on their weight loss journey because I had one, and so each inspiration was 31 of them was created to have an inspirational message. Oh, excuse me, along with a journal where you can journal in the book as well as a scripture and an affirmation that went along with it.
Okay, cool.
And so it's basically to help women who are on their journey to have something to inspire them and keep them grounded as they went through their journey. And they didn't have to necessarily read the inspirations in order, but they could go from page to page or they could skip around.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's what it was created for.
And then you wrote that like while you were in the middle of your personal weight loss journey, or where you were already got the place you wanted to be, and then you were writing as, "Hey, I've done this, and here's some help, some suggestions to how you make this work for you."
It was more so towards the latter part of my journey, my
Okay.
first phase of my journey, I would say.
Okay.
And where I had pretty much lost a significant amount of weight. And I wanted to have something for women because at that time I was working on a coaching program. And, not everyone can always afford to coach with someone. And so
Sure.
I wanted to create something that people could, still have something to keep them inspired on their journey. And so it was created to really help women to hear a message that would actually inspire them to keep going. And what inspired me to write it in that format was a book that I had by Joel Osteen. Was called I Declare. And so as I read that book, I loved the format of the book. And so it inspired me to write that book the way I did.
Right. Cool. Cool. Wow. And now a multi-author. Whoo! Look at you go. How many books do you think you're going to write in your lifetime?
I don't
1,000?
know. I don't know. Wherever God leads me.
Nice. Nice.
I want to say wherever God leads me.
And
Yeah.
we were talking about all of the resources and help that you provide for cooking, right? And you had one cookbook, and you have another cookbook coming out, and you have like a show, right? A show about there where you teach cooking, right? Correct?
Yes, so I do virtual and in-person cooking experiences. Cooking with Tiffany that's the name of the brand, the part of the brand. And what I do is I work with I pretty much create um uh engaging, unique cooking experiences for school districts, organizations, corporations, individuals that empower them to, to prioritize their self care, strengthen teams, foster connection and fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, whether it's with a company or actually in studio or a virtual event, we get on online or in person in a studio or even on off site, and we have a certain theme that they choose, and we basically cook a meal. And I usually talk about the benefits of the foods on the table. I usually also share. I have my own seasoning line, so I also share certain seasons that complement the dish that we're cooking. And I love tools. I'm a gadget queen. So I love like rice cookers, different kind of grills and things like that. And so normally each one of my events usually has my tools, my toys on the table somewhere. And
Oh,
I also share the benefits of these tools I use and how it makes cooking easier, because truth be told, Alan, everybody doesn't have time to be in the kitchen all day.
no,
And
true.
so my goal is to get people back in the kitchen cooking, at the same time making it easy for them to enjoy the experience without being in there for over an hour.
Right.
Most of the recipes in my cookbook are 30 minutes or less. Most of them, almost
30
97%
Yeah,
of them probably.
yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. And I'm sure because of where like your weight loss journey and your first book, like you're probably choosing meals that are like reasonable on calories and big on nutrition. Would that be a fair assumption?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Except for the days I don't want to cook. We all
Yeah,
have those days, so
we all have those days. Yeah,
some days
exactly.
I'm tired. I'm not cooking today.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly.
yes, most of them are definitely big on different ingredients. My one that's coming is probably gonna be one of my most favorite ones to do because of the way I'm setting it up, and so I'll tell that secret later. But yeah, but it's gonna be definitely one that makes life easier for people, especially when especially people who are trying to step into their weight loss journey or wanting to shed pounds. Because even for myself right now, like I want to shed some pounds right now, so I am implementing what I'm about to put in my cookbook. And
Uh-huh.
so because I want people to see that this process does work, and it's actually evidence based, so I research based, so I'm looking forward to sharing that and share my experience of why I was inspired to write this second cookbook the way I'm going to write it. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Got it. And your books, you have many about journaling, and journaling just because you know the value of it in terms of our mental health and wellness. Yes?
Yes, it's so critical. Like I have my journal on my bed over here waiting for me because I journal every night now. I challenged myself in January for a 31-day self-care challenge that I created for myself, and it was for me to get back into journaling during the the height of the pandemic. I have a holistic medical doctor who I love to death. Her name is Dr. K, and one of the things I was required to do was journal. And I have a prayer room at the other house where I would sit in the room and I would journal for a certain amount of time during the day, and that allowed me to release emotions on paper, to de-stress. And so like even like now, like I love it. Like I have to, before I go to bed, I'm gonna put something on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
So the journals work, I decided to publish journals because I wanted other people to have that same experience. And it also would help me in doing workshops to share the benefits of it. So I had to get back in it because you do have those times when you may fall off the wagon for a little while
Yeah.
and then you get back on. And so this is that year to get back on track. So doing what I know is been so beneficial to me mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And so I have a fit teach regular notebook journal. I have the Fit Pause journal that has a guided section. It has a way for you to self-check yourself. Did you do something for yourself today? It has different activities you can choose. It has resources in the front of the book that tell you about what is self-care, what are my 6 self-care pillars, and what kind of activities you can do that fall under those pillars. What else? Affirmations are in there that you can choose as an educator that are specifically for the educator. So it's much little, and then I have a resource page where it's different books you can buy that will allow you to help with your health and well-being. And so that was to create a resource for teachers, just so that way it doesn't take a whole hour to do it. You can pick up your book, you can check what you did, you can write what you're grateful for, you can write, I think it's the affirmation of the day, and then it has a jot page, a journal page for you, like a 5-minute journal page. So it's something quick and easy, but it allows you to take a moment to pause and relax. And so I love that journal. And then I have one that's called I Choose Me. And so I Choose Me was started during the pandemic. And that was something that God gave me in a prayer. And it was basically to help encourage women to pause and take time for themselves, to choose yourself. And so that journal was created for women to take time. So one was for educators, but that one in specifically is for women to pause and take a moment to write something down. And make time for themselves, just like I do every night here. And so those journals were my gift to educators and women.
Nice, beautiful. What's your self-care routine look like, Tiffany? Like, what if it's not too personal? Don't.
You're fine. Myself group. So here's the thing. So right now, if I'm looking over here, I have my 31-day self-care challenge that I did. So I create these categories. So I have one that says body, movement, and nourishment. One that says mind, and I can't remember why I don't have the rest of that written there. It's supposed to be another piece to that, but that's for the mind. Then I have one that's called soul, which is basically that encompasses joy and inspiration. There's another one called connection that encompasses relationships and community. And then there's one that's called joy, that's for play and relaxation. And so for the month of January, what I did was there are different activities that fall under each category. And so in January, each day I would choose a category to do something from the list. Sure. Or I would do something that may not even be on the list. And so my self-care regimen right now for February is that I'm taking one of those categories each week, and I'm doing something every day that falls under that category.
Oh, cool.
This week for me is all about rest, which is under body, movement and nourishment. I need to be nourished right now. I need to have time to replenish. So I'm relaxing. This is being on this live tonight is probably the most work I've done all week. My mother had a surprise birthday party. We did a surprise birthday party for my mother on Saturday. She turned 80 on Sunday. Ooh. So that was part of my connection, relationships, and community. We had family and friends from everywhere. And so that took a lot out of me. There was a lot of planning that went into that. And so this week I am resting. I'm going to sleep more. I'm resting, not doing too much because I need to replenish my body. And so this week is all about resting, drinking more water. So my self-care regimen this week is around getting more sleep, taking the time to relax. I don't care if it's turn the lights off and watching some TV, drinking more water, and just doing some things that making doctor's appointments, because that's part of your physical self-care, and doing things that allow me to reset and rejuvenate my body.
Nice. I'm actually taking a course right now on preventive health, just like, and it's a really, really detailed course. And one of the things that I was shocked to learn was that poor sleep habits lead to obesity, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease. They're like, and they explain the science behind that, right? Like with the Alzheimer's, it's about some amyloid plaque, blah, blah, blah thing that you need so many hours of sleep in order for that to be released by your brain or cleansed from your brain. And if not, then it builds up, and then you have dementia type problems. Those kind of things start to occur. But even about the obesity and diabetes, if you don't have, like, I never knew that. I never put that connection together. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely working on my sleep because when you are a parallelpreneur, so I still have a day job plus my business.
Okay, what do you call that? Parallelpreneur?
Parallelpreneur.
Is that a Tiffany original, that one? Or?
No, it's not. It was a term that I first heard with one of my business coaches years ago.
Oh, okay.
You're a parallelpreneur, or in certain spaces, an edupreneur, because I'm an educator and an entrepreneur. And so being a parallelpreneur / edupreneur, we work our day job and then we come home and we work our businesses. And so sometimes I go to bed very late, and that's an area that I am working on because I know that I need more sleep. And so how I'm mitigating that a little bit is that I try my best now when I come home to go to bed, relax, wind down. I also, on the weekends, I sleep as long as I can.
Okay.
So I tell people, don't call me early in the mornings. I'm not taking any appointments early in the morning. When I can, like my calendars for this next couple of Saturday, well, not next Saturday, but this Saturday is not until the afternoon. I have an appointment in the afternoon, but not booking things early so that I can really have time to sleep, because I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day for work.
Ooh.
And I have to be at work by 7.
Okay.
And I have a 40-minute commute every day.
Ooh.
So it's catching up with me.
Okay. What's your ideal time? You want to go to bed knowing you're getting up at 5 in the morning?
My ideal time would be around, I would say 9:30, 10 o'clock.
9:30, 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can go earlier, I would love to. But I know I do my business work after work, and sometimes that takes me over. So I'm learning this week to do hard stops again. Hard stops meaning like at 9 o'clock, I'm shutting it down. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
By 9:30, I'm in my bed because I'm taking me a shower and I'm gonna have my clothes ready. There's things that I need to do to get myself ready. So that's a part of my self-care regimen.
Yeah.
Some other things that encompass my self-care regimen will also be probably I prep my meals on Sundays. So this week kind of threw me off a little bit. My meals weren't prepped this week. And when I tell you, Alan, I was like, oh my God, I feel like a fish out of water, because I had family in town. My aunt is still here. I said Sunday we still celebrating mom, so I didn't get a chance to prep my food. So I'm really like a little off my norm.
Sure.
And I don't like that feeling because I don't really eat out. And so when you don't prep, you end up having to buy, because I come home really late and I'm like, I don't have time to do that. So Sunday is my meal prep day.
Sure.
Shop for groceries between Friday and Saturday, but you best believe on Sunday I'm prepping my meals for the week. And I try to find things that are easy to do that get me in and out the kitchen within 2 hours, hopefully, as far as prepping everything for the week.
And you don't eat, if I can just interject, if you don't eat out because just food, like prepared, like especially fast food, is just not healthy. It's just
not healthy for you.
Yeah, just adds lots and lots of calories and no real nutrition, and
no empty calories. Just nothing really. Like you eat it and you're hungry all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what did I just eat? Air? It's like, but also being able to know what I'm eating. Also the cost of food, even when you eat out, even though cost of food in general now is expensive.
Yeah.
But being able to make my own meals and plan it out and save money and know that what I'm creating doesn't have all the extra salt and the preservatives and all those things they put in foods these days that we know. And so I prefer to cook at home.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of eating out. If I do, it's because it's a rarity. It's a rarity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you still can eat out, but it's really, you have to be really, really particular about where you're going if you're gonna control what the nutrition value and the calorie intake you're getting, right? So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
And then in education, you've been involved in education for how long? Long time.
This is my 24th year in education.
24th year.
Yeah, 24th. Yes. And I think February will make my 24th year as an educator. I came into
Woo.
the school system in New York years ago. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, live in the metro Atlanta area. But I started my education career in 2001,
Okay.
February of 2001.
All right.
So
And and then that's why, because of that, long experience with education, where some of your books are geared towards educators and with from an
yes,
educator mindset, right? So,
yes. And so in my current role, I am what they call an instructional coach in my day job. And my job is to provide professional development and instructional support to teachers. So it's like a master teacher that comes out the classroom to support teachers and helps to build them and increasing their craft, right? Improving their craft. And so what happened a couple of years back, I would have teachers come to my office for meetings to plan lessons and things like that. And I'm like, what are y'all eating? Like soda early in the morning, all kind of like donuts and just a whole bunch of stuff that just was not good. And a lot of teachers watched my weight loss journey.
mm,
So they were like, "What are you doing? And so sometimes I would go to have one-on-one sessions with a teacher to give them feedback from a lesson. I'm having a health coaching session, you know. And so it inspired me to launch Fit Teach. And Fit Teach originally was for fitness. It was to help educators get fit by working out because at that time I was a workout, what they call a gym rat here, and they call it a gym rat. Just always in the gym working out. I had a trainer. I trained three times a week, and for like 2.5 years straight. And then I became a fitness instructor, and so people knew that, and so I would try. My goal was to get more people to take care of themselves. So I became the example.
yeah.
And so that part of my brand ended up for a while being its own company. And then a couple of years ago, I switched over to B2B, business to business, where I provide more of educator wellness professional development, like educator wellness workshops. And so I've traveled to different parts of the United States to work with school districts on prioritizing self care, helping educators see the benefits of it, doing workshops that inspire educators to like really take a look at their own self care practices, creating their self care plans. And but the one the last year, I couldn't get. The thing that kept getting me phone call, I got phone calls for was food. So I ended up doing a lot of workshops around self care, but how do you eat healthier? How
Yeah.
do you eat make quick meals that taste good and look good? And so the Cooking with Tiffany part of my brand merged over into Fit Teach. And so now as of 2024, I closed Fit Teach as a company, and now it's a program under Cooking with Tiffany. So if you would go to my website, you'll see where it has like my Cooking with Tiffany part. It has my Fit Teach programs and services, where I do virtual workshops. I do in person and travel. But the goal is to bring more awareness to the need for educators to take care of themselves. This was inspired by my former principal, whose birthday actually was yesterday. Let me see. No, today. Her birthday is today. Today's the 6th, right?
Yeah.
Today's the 6th, right? Yeah, her birthday is today. And so my former principal, who passed away in 2014, her name was Wanda Harmon, and she was 57, I believe, when she passed away. She had given 36 years of service to the school district, and she didn't enjoy her one full year of retirement.
Wow. That's
She
that.
It's really bad. So came through all the ranks, Alan. I'm talking about from a paraprofessional, which is a teacher assistant in the classroom, to a teacher, to an instructional coach like what I do, to an assistant principal, to a principal, and to become a principal at the school that she actually went to as an elementary school student.
Oh, wow. That's
Amazing,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
And so she was an amazing leader. She taught me a lot. She was a great mentor, but she passed away of congestive heart failure. And as her right-hand girl, I watched her. She would come to work sick. She didn't do a lot of, you wouldn't eat the right food sometime, she was like, it's all about the kids, all about the kids. But you can't, if you can't be there for yourself first, you can't be there for the kids.
Yeah.
And so I pretty much, after she retired, let's say March or April of 2014, she died in November of 2014. So I basically watched her die. I remember we were all at the hospital when the cold blue came and they were running to try to resuscitate her, but her story inspired me to really push the importance of wellness for educators. I've spoken to leaders at school, and I'll tell you, Alan, which is really interesting, is that there are some leaders that still don't even welcome the idea of wellness at their schools.
Wow.
And which, to me, if the pandemic didn't teach us anything, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
self-care is far from selfish.
Yes.
What allows you to be selfless, right? That you have to give.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, her story, I always tell her story. I have a workshop that I do that's for leaders. It's called the Leadership Elixir. And it was created to help education leaders to create their own wellness plan.
Yeah.
And to look at how do you now take what you're going to do for yourself and inspire and sprinkle that in your school buildings.
Yeah, yeah.
And so with to help educators, leaders in education to really think about what is my self-care plan and how am I supporting my teams at my school in terms of their health and well-being.
Sure. Yeah. And look at the difference, just that somebody in a leadership role that they can make in terms of influence, and if not everybody in that place, a big percentage, right? Look at the inspiration you have been, right? In terms of your, self-care journey and weight loss journey and getting healthy and that kind of a thing, and being able to be a coach and a guide and assisting others on their self-care journey. I mean, you've been a huge inspiration to thousands, right? So, wow.
Absolutely. And I just want people to, so when I did that workshop, I have a slide that has my principal's picture on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's your story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I have a scenario.
To remember her too, eh?
Say it again.
What a great way to remember her.
Yes.
Right?
It's in her memory. Absolutely. Yeah. To honor her. And it's funny because I tell her, it's like I have a scenario that I share. And at the end, towards the end of the workshop, I reveal that that's a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her story. Because I want people to understand that this is real. Like, if we don't do something, there are too many educators leaving the profession who are sick or who have died.
Yeah.
Or who have retired and they're not well. And so I really want people to understand, like, hey, what can we do differently? And it's not even just in education. Even like now, I've expanded this year to corporate America, corporate organizations, because the same things are going on. They're just slightly different.
Sure.
How do we really take care of our employees? What can we do differently?
Sure.
How do we lighten their load? How do we, it's not just about yoga and fitness, it's more to it than that. That's only one aspect of it,
Yeah, no kidding. And like, there's all the components have to be there, right? Like, I mean, you like to the what you eat, certainly important in terms of your health, the activity levels you have, right? If it's too much, that's no good either, right? If you're the gym rat and you're actually hurting yourself all the time because you're overtraining, that's no good either. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And in terms of how you journal or meditate or do to kind of keep yourself keep yourself mind well, and then also your spiritual connection you have as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's so important. And that's why I'm loving this strategy that I have going right now. Every week I have my self-care categories I'm choosing for the month of February, because what I'm going to do is they build upon the next week.
Yeah, sure.
So next week the focus may not be on next week is physical still, but let's say I may throw in the mind category. So that means that I may be doing more journaling. I may be doing some yoga or some praying or whatever I'm doing. Well, that's actually spiritual. But whatever I'm doing, the physical one still stays there, but I'm going to add another layer to it. And so I'm in a fun way creating a new self-care plan,
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
and making it fun and easy, because sometimes I think we overthink stuff. We have to stop overthinking things. Like, it could be, we may not have enough time in the day, but we got enough time to take a moment to write something down.
Definitely.
Like, I have my goddaughter right now. She's having a hard time with some things. And I told her to get her a journal. And I asked her, I said, every day your job is to write 5 things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
I said, gratitude is medicine.
You bet.
She does struggle with some mental health issues. And so I told her to write down 5 things she's grateful for. And she has to identify one small win every day.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't even honor the small things. Like, we put the big, but there are little things that are happening that we don't even get just to actually acknowledge and enjoy and be in the moment with.
Yeah. And celebrate, right?
Celebrate, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. I was to celebrate the win.
Yeah.
Like we don't even celebrate those things, and they're meaningful. They may seem small, but they're at the same time, this is big. And so she sends me a text message every day where she's showing me what she's grateful for the day and what her win was. And one of her wins was that she got a new job. But last week she was on the ledge talking about, oh, woe is me, and I don't have. I'm like, girl, you're only 24. Get it together. It's gonna be all right.
Well, you are a huge influence in her life to be, coaching and helping and guiding and having that connection with her, right? So
yes,
Tiffany, you are an inspiration. Amazing. So we're wrapping up here. Any other things that you want to share about yourself and and the amazing work that you do?
I just want to encourage people to, like, for myself, like right now I am on my own second leg of my journey. My second edition Lady of Power book is very personal.
Okay.
And so the second edition is allowing me to tell more of my story. The first edition, I didn't really tell my story, but this one has a more of a personal connection. It has a journal page too, because I believe in that. But it also has some very deep thought questions that I ask for us to dig a little deep within. So I encourage you, just like I'm doing for myself, is to take time to look within, to dig deep, to unpack some things. And if it means that you have to get someone to help you unpack those things, whether it be a coach or a therapist, it's important. Give yourself grace, because that's what I'm learning how to do, is to give myself grace, because sometimes we are very hard on ourselves, and some of the things that we tell ourselves are worse than we would tell other people. So I want to encourage you, just like I'm encouraging myself, is to give yourself grace. Look for that win every day, and definitely express gratitude.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Really enjoyed having you on the show. Health, Hope, and Happiness was the show. TiffanyInspiresQR.com is where you see all of Tiffany's resources and can connect with her. And great to hang out with you and learn more about you, Tiffany.
Same here. Thank you for having me so much.